Renegades have made it through to the champion stage once again. It certainly wasn't as easy as last time, and I've got Liazz with me to discuss all of the madness that has gone on. And it's quite a crazy ride for you guys because you went 3-1 last time. People maybe didn't expect it, was more of a shock factor. This time around you go 3-2, but you do it from the reverse sweep. Do you think the competition's tougher this time around at the major?
I think, oh yeah, definitely. I think last one we came into it really prepared and no one really knew what to expect from us because we just came off like a 3-week boot camp and we had a whole bunch of new stuff. Kassad and Azza had come up with like hundreds of new strats for every map. But after we got through that cycle, we just kept recycling like old strats because we never really had time to sit down and reinvigorate it, re-energize our game or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And so our results got worse and worse. They just diminished, and we just decided before this one that we'd have to do that huge boot camp again. We just, we changed everything. Went from, A to B, A to Z in the strat book. Yeah.
And that's what you did last time, right? When it came to Katowice, you guys took on this huge amount of boot camp time and preparation from the minors all the way through to the legend stage. And now you guys have done it again. Why are boot camps so important for you guys in particular? Because some teams still either say, oh, we don't boot camp that much, or they try to avoid it.
I think for us, even though we have really strong individual players, we're a really strategic team. I think a lot of people think we're like that. Alex likes to Kassad.
Yes.
The way that he sees the game is very tactical and very he likes to get into people's heads, and it's also the way that Aaron likes to call. He's a very aggressive player, but when he's calling, he's super methodical and everything. So yeah, it's definitely really important for us to get in a lot of practice. Yeah, before this event, the last real boot camp that we had was actually before Kato.
Oh wow. All right, so now we come on to the first opening game. You guys end up going against NRG, and it's quite the interesting battle, 16-14. But you were saying before that you practiced against NRG, and they didn't seem that good, right, in comparison. So what do you guys felt went wrong this time around for you?
Well, just the anti-ecos. I felt like every gun round that we went into, we felt like we were dominating the round. We felt like we had control the whole time. We knew what they were doing, but I think it was something stupid, like 4 or 5 anti-ecos just in that one game that we lost. Tarek would just come out swinging with a 1 dig, and that was the round done. Then in the 14-14 rounds, the 29th round, they were execing B and we were all over it, and Yod, Jacob, starts spraying 3 guys in the side of the head and his mouse wheel jumps. And what can you do? The world was against us. Then the 30th round, Breezy, an unbelievable 4K, getting across someone's mind somehow, and it's just, the world was against us for that game, I think.
A few little differences, right, that make a huge difference in the end to it. But then we see you guys go up against Avantgarde, which is a team that looked very different previously to what they do now, with only changing 1 player in a Dren. But Vertigo, did you guys feel like you had an advantage going into this one, given the fact of their results? It's not exactly the strongest map for them. They certainly play it, but I mean, you compare the teams they've faced, I'm sure you guys were thinking this would be a pretty good one for us.
Yeah, we definitely thought we had. I mean, in hindsight's 2020, but in hindsight, we had a huge map pool advantage on them. So there was 3 or 4 different maps we could have gone to. We didn't think that they'd properly prepared for Vertigo, and Vertigo for us during our boot camp was probably our strongest map. We've been doing really well on it, and we're all really comfortable, and we have fun playing it. So we were very, very confident going into it, but they prepared really well for the game, and it's just how it was. We didn't come into it confident. I think we lost the first 7 rounds or 8 rounds in a row just because we weren't playing as aggressive as we usually do. No one was doing what they usually did in prac, and at halftime we sort of had a talk about that, and after the game we had another talk, and we're still really confident with our Vertigo.
Had you practiced against them at all during your boot camp?
Avantgarde,
Okay, so that's an interesting one to come into it. So now you're sadly at the 0-2 part, and this is where it is do or die. It's very scary, but you go up against the Dream Eaters, who had massive upset potential in the Challenger stage. But did you guys kind of get a good feel for how they play and what they look like because of all the games they played during the Challenger stage?
Yeah, well, we're kind of pressed for time after those 2 first matches, but we are we had a look at their games. Alex went over a lot of their demos and did a big write-up about what he thought their weaknesses were and what he thought we should do, where they play, all that sort of stuff. I also had a look at like the person, because I'm playing like the far wings of the map, so I'm usually in on one-on-one, so I'm looking at his demos and seeing what he does, and that's about it. We didn't prep like super hard. We went into it confident. We've been feeling good, even though we lost those first 2 matches. We still thought we were going to be all over them.
Now, was this the needed confidence boost to kind of bring you guys back into it? Because it must have been quite a low point for you guys to be in that 0-2. And considering when I spoke to Azza on the media day, he was feeling very confident with how things went.
Yeah, it definitely was. I think it was like the first match that it was like we'd lost like the last 15 or 16 matches or something ridiculous before that game. We haven't won a BO3 without it going 3 maps in a long time as well. And you know, getting that win is just a lot of like pressure off everyone's backs. Getting that 1 win, so we're guaranteed the next major if the format stays the same. And you know, I think that once we got that win, everyone just sort of started believing again. After Avanga 0-2, it was a little bit dark, but we believed after the 1-2.
Good thing is though, the teams you did lose to, they both qualified in the sense that they've made it as well, right?
Yeah, they're good teams.
and that's what we're seeing in this competition. It's a level above than what some people ever expected certain teams to be able to deliver. So next up you get FaZe Clan. Now this is an interesting one because we've got the Yanko versus Kassad kind of moment in there.
And Nico, yeah.
And Nico with it as well. Was this you guys saying, okay, it's time to shine, time to do it? And was there more hunger to take that win than before?
Oh yeah, definitely. I know, as Alex said in his interview before, he said that while he enjoys playing against them, and they're always close, great matches, he hates playing against them because one person's got to get knocked out or one person's got to lose, and they're brothers. Like those guys are so close. So going into the game, we were really confident because in practice against them, they were probably one of the teams that played us closer, but we still felt like we were comfortable against them in practice. We felt like we were making the right plays and we had good reads. So going into that series, I think that we felt as though we were the better team.
Yeah.
Yeah, despite, you know, us coming off like quite a few losses and everything, we felt like we were the confident ones going into the matchup because they'd lost probably a couple games that they shouldn't have. And yeah, it was just once the series started, I don't think anyone had any nerves or any pressure on them as well, whereas they were the ones with the backs against the wall, and it worked for us.
Now talk me through Mirage, because that is a FaZe kind of home map, right? But it started to get scrappy once you guys got to overtime. So what was it like for you?
Well, right before OT, I think that's when it got really scrappy. I watched over the game like afterwards, and it was just guys factionally every single round was getting like unbelievable like kills through smoke, spamming people, getting an opening pick every round. He closed out like 4 rounds where they had a match point against us. Like he really like he carried us at the end of that Mirage game. He kept us in that game, and you know, like keeping us in that game is what won us the series really, and then got us the legend spot.
Now after that overtime game, were you guys really kind of exhausted after it or something? Because when I looked at Nuke, yes, it's their pick, but I mean, you guys can play it, but you got completely blown out.
Yeah, well, after Cologne, which wasn't too long ago, we decided to change all our CT roles. Yod moved to outside and I moved to the anchor at top, and we've kind of been changing the way that we run our outside takes and how we play and our rotations and everything, and we were still in the process of working that out. So we felt very confident in practice, but when it came to the game against FaZe, they were doing things that we hadn't experienced before as a team in that roster, in that setup, and they kind of just blew us out of the water. There wasn't really much we could do. It felt like they got the opening pick every round.
Now Vertigo comes back into it again, and I wanted to understand why you guys chose Vertigo over Dust 2, was because obviously after losing to Avangard, most people would have thought, okay, maybe they won't try and test FaZe on it, and maybe Dust 2 would be the way to go, but you guys went for Vertigo, so how come?
We just feel really confident in it.
So we're just going back to it, yeah.
Map. We're pretty sure it's our best map. You know, Mirage was like, that was our baby at Kato, and I think Vertigo is our baby now.
Ah, very interesting. So it worked out, but it was very close either way. You still take down FaZe Clan, and then you find yourselves going up against G2, the game you just played, and you in particular had a very strong performance. But G2 is a team where they certainly won't make it easy for you. But this time, you guys picked into Vertigo.
Yep.
So the confidence is still there.
Yeah,
You've had the win against FaZe now, and you're
there.
back on it.
Yeah. Well, going over the maps that they play,
Yeah.
I think Vertigo just definitely made the most sense for us. The last time we played G2, I'm pretty sure we picked Inferno as our pick, and it backfired pretty hard, and we lost pretty heavily. And there wasn't really another map where we felt completely comfortable versing them on, as like their strong maps were the other maps that we could have picked. So Vertigo was the one to go to, and we were really happy to do that because it felt like they didn't play it as much as we did. Yeah. Felt like I think they've only played it once. I think they played it against Mouse Sports here and they just got blown out. So yeah, we felt really happy to play it.
Now when it goes to Dust 2, it's the map that they managed to pick, and they pick quite regularly. So there's a lot of information when it comes to G2 on it, and they even pick it in best of ones, which is still quite surprising. But for you guys, I don't think it's fair to pinpoint one player, but do you feel like it was more of a struggle for you guys to kind of challenge the likes of Kenny and Shocks? Because there was a lot of aggression being thrown around, and yes, Amanek had a good game as well, but I think the AWP duels just didn't really work out for you guys, did it?
Yeah, I suppose so. It felt like every round was super scrappy and we were just making too many small mistakes. There was one round in particular where it was just, we started doing a mid-B split on T side, and we had full CT control, we had whole mid control. None of them could rotate from A, and we knew they had 2B, and they smoked the doors off, and we just thought we had to run through it. We just panicked and ran through, and we gave Shocks like 4 kills or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just little mistakes like that throughout the whole game. We lost like 4 1v1s. I felt like, to me personally, it felt like we were in control of the game, but they had individual step up.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can see that with that one. Now Inferno, this was an interesting one because you guys started off really strong. It was looking great. But then I would say, did you at halftime realize that they're probably not going to be able to come back into it? Because like, you guys had such a great start with it that looking at what they could do on their T side, well, as you saw, they only got 2 rounds after that.
Yeah, I mean, like during our boot camp, we've had a really shaky CT side on our Inferno. We didn't really know what to expect, but I think in that first pistol round when Sean just got 3 instant headshots with the CZ, we just knew we were going to win. We felt it. Everyone was confident, everyone was happy. People were screaming. You just know you're going to win when that's happening.
Yeah, you definitely seemed like you were in a good place. And then you on the T side pistol as well, ducking and diving through smokes and whatnot. I don't know how you stayed alive.
I don't remember what happened then. I was running around.
It was a solid performance from you. You guys have made it though. But how does it feel this time? Because when we were just walking here, you were still, it looked like it was trying to sink in.
Well, I mean, for me, it's a really big deal because before this tournament, we had a really rough few months, man. And
yeah.
Coming last place in 3 or 4 tournaments in a row, and for me personally, coming into the tournament, I thought that if this didn't work out for us, that would be the end of it for me in Renegades. I've been underperforming. I haven't had the best performances for a long time now in Renegades, and before this tournament, I got a lot of support from my friends and family in particular, and a lot of the people around me and my team just told me that they believed in me. So I put in 110% before this event, and I felt like all the pressure was off because I wanted to give it one last shot.
And you did it, man. You did it in a very good way as well. You crushed it, you've made it all the way through to the playoffs once again, and you should be proud of what you've done.
Cheers.
Liazz, I will see you when it gets to the arena, man. Congrats once again. That is us done from the Secret Lab area. Another winners as Renegades make their way through.